Number two on that list, different kind of pressure, but I think Jason Kidd, he's getting, to me, perhaps the best player in the NBA in Luka Doncic. And I know Kevin Durant's out there. I know LeBron's still a monster, but this guy's young. And, you know, we like to say a lot of times, oh, the black coach don't get the team that's ready to win now. And it's not that Dallas has a perfect roster. They don't. But they do have a big piece in Luka Doncic. Jason Kidd, how much pressure will be on him to win it? Because I think Dallas thought of themselves as a sleeper championship team last year, and that's why they had to dust Carlisle. I think Jason Kidd's going to be under some pressure as well.
We're like, pressure comes with what we do, right? You want the pressure, and Jason Kidd in Dallas with Luka, I think that pressure definitely is going to be there, and there's definitely a win now, an expectation to win. But I think the most important piece of the puzzle for him is not necessarily what he does with Luka, but can he unlock Porzingis? Can he unleash Porzingis? Can Porzingis become that unique, once in a lifetime player that we all thought he had the potential to be? We saw Jason Kidd look at Giannis in Milwaukee, and he was the first one to put the ball in Giannis's hand and say, okay, I'm going to make you a point guard, and you're going to handle the basketball, because he was able to go back and look at film and watch Giannis play in his early days when Giannis was a point guard. Porzingis has similar skills as Giannis has. So will he be able to unleash Porzingis, get those two guys to play together, get them on the same page, because they're not on the same page right now. But if he can get those two guys on the same page, then they got a chance to be spectacular in Dallas.
I want to talk a little bit about Ben Simmons. He's been in the news. Isaiah, I don't know if you know this, but as a young child, I think I was about 14, 15 years old, 1980-ish, Bobby Knight reached out to me and asked me to spend the summer with Landon Turner, working on his low post game. And I was able to share some things with Landon that really took him to the next level, and that's why you guys were able to win at such a high level. Do you think someone could do the same thing for Ben Simmons? Can Ben Simmons be fixed, or is that something where I may need to step in and try to help Ben out?
So I think you can step in and help him out, not in a low post game, but if you can just make him a better free throw shooter, right? When I look at Ben Simmons' game and I critique it, right? Ben Simmons is probably never going to be a great 3-point shooter. Ben Simmons is a good low post player. What Ben Simmons' problem is he's afraid of the foul line. Now we look at some of the greatest scorers ever in our league. When you talk about Michael Jordan getting to the line 10 plus times, getting 8 to 9 points a night from the foul line. When you look at Karl Malone getting to the line, 10 to 12 times a night, getting 8 to 10 points from the foul line. Magic Johnson's MVP years. Remember, Jason, and I know y'all were Magic fans. Remember Magic couldn't shoot, and they say Magic couldn't shoot, right? I spent 2 summers with Magic, and all Magic did was work on his foul shooting. Magic became the MVP of the league because he became a better free throw shooter. Magic started getting 8 to 10 points a night from the foul line. If Ben Simmons wants to become an acceptable, credible leader of a team as a point guard, you finish the game from the foul line. If he just simply becomes a better free throw shooter, his points per game average will go up. His assists are already there. His rebounds are already there. And if he takes his points per game up, 3 to 4 points, possibly 5, just by being a better foul shooter, then Ben Simmons becomes one of the best players in the game.
If you were a general manager, would you be interested in trading for Ben Simmons?
100%.
You think it's that? Just make him a better free throw shooter, and that's that. He doesn't have to have a mid-range game. I mean, Magic eventually when left open, was able to knock down threes and knock down perimeter shots. Jason Kidd came into the league and he couldn't shoot from three, allegedly, and then he became a great three-point shooter. He can improve as a perimeter shooter, yes?
Well, yes, he can. So if you become a better free throw shooter, right, guess what? That's 15 feet from the basket. Now you're getting confidence from what we have called the mid-range now. So anytime you get a 15 to 17-foot shot, you're looking at that like a free throw. That's why back in the day, you couldn't leave the Reggie Millers and Ray Allens and Larry Bird and all them people open. A 15-foot shot, that's a free throw, right? So once he becomes a better foul shooter, now his confidence will improve. So then he can move out to 17, 18, 19. But he's got to conquer the foul line. Once he conquers the foul line, then, Katie barred the door.
Only because you've got this fascinating take. I'm going to move a little bit off basketball again, just jump back into real life. You've got this fascinating take that race is a man-made false construct. And he's been explaining to me, Jim, this to me for the past year. Isaiah's smarter than me. I don't know if you know this, but he's smarter. He's smarter than me, and so he's got this degree from Cal Berkeley, extra degree. He went to
Charles Barkley's smarter than you.
No, he's not. Barkley's not smarter than me, and Barkley knows that. But anyway, explain to me, my audience, and Jim, did you notice, by the way, I told the story about me and Bobby Knight and Landon Turner, and Isiah just blew it off. Wouldn't even go with my funny joke. Wouldn't give me any credit at all. I actually rooted for them back in 80 and 81. Because Landon Turner's from my city, but
because first of all, Isaiah's an OG. Okay, Isaiah's old school. Okay, Isiah no pressure bust pipes. Okay, Isiah ain't gonna waste no time with even responding to no dumb mess like that, man.
Oh, all right, well that's probably
Come on,
true.
man.
Could you explain your? Go ahead.
I did say thank you. When you run the tape back, you'll hear me say thank you for that.
Oh,
okay. He did say thank you.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did say thank you. Like, you got some more you want to give out?
Isiah, help my audience. Why do you think race is a false construct?
So first of all, I'd like to give my qualifications for answering this question. And you talked about my master's in education from UC Berkeley. And my educational studies in this space is around race, culture, and sport. And UC Berkeley is the #1 public research school in the United States. Okay. Now, from my life experience of being classified as Black, so I'm giving you my life experience combined with my educational scholarship experience and my qualifications to answer this question. So the people that I have studied, Theodore Allen, 2 volumes, The Invention of the White Race by Theodore Allen. Okay. And then you look at John Henrik Clark, you look at Omi Nwynette in terms of racial structures. And then also when you look at Frances Cress Wessling in terms of her theories on white supremacy. Now, those are kind of some of the research books that you can kind of go and find and read and understand where I'm coming from. Now, when we talk about the social construct of race, scientifically, biologically, science has confirmed that there is no such thing as race. Okay? Now, there are racial classifications, just like in South Africa where they had apartheid. We are in a color-coded apartheid system that talks about us as Black people, white people, yellow people, people of color. We have all been taken out of all nationalities, white folk included. You grew up with Irish, Italian, Greek, Polish. Now they all classify as white. We, Aboriginals, born here in America, Your mama born here, your grandmama born here, your great, 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 all them, you know, everybody, we come from the land. But our nationality has been stripped and taken away from us. And we're put in these color-coded boxes. And we're governed, we're ruled under this colored apartheid system of black, white, red, yellow, blue, people of color. I'll hit the pause button and see if you have any questions.
Everything you've said so far, I tend to agree with. Where I'm at on the issue in terms of like, I guess I've kind of accepted the color coding, but I've moved on to like, culture is far more important than color. And it's like, what culture, what's your worldview, what's your life philosophy, what are the customs that you think are appropriate behavior and appropriate just way of looking at what, that's far more important than what your skin color is. That's where I'm at. But am I wrong? Am I right? That's my view.
No, you're right. And those are different, those are big words with different, classifications. So when you talk about culture, right, we do have a black culture. And because we have been classified as black in this system, and in this system, we've been classified as Negro, colored, black, Afro-American, African-American, some other. We've been called everything but American. we can't claim our nationality as Americans. And so, therefore, there's been this second-class status when you say black as a race. So they have us talking race, okay? When there's really, race is a social construct, it really doesn't exist. So when we classify as black, that means that in this system, right, you are classifying as someone who doesn't have nationality or claim to the land, which they call birthrights. So the white male the classified white male has never had to fight for voting rights. He's never had to fight for equal rights. He's never had to fight for civil rights. He's born with what they call birthrights. You've had to have your birth certificate changed, just like I did, from Negro to black. Black, color. Remember we had to take Negro off our birth certificates. Okay? Why? Because that meant that you were classified as second-class citizens. Well, today we're still fighting for voting rights, civil rights, equal rights. We are not granted birthrights in this color-coded caste system that we have in America. When you talk black, white, people of color, that comes with legal concepts, that come with legal terms. And then when you look up the definitions of these words, right? When you look up the definition of black, we want to change the definitions of words, but we can't. Language is what language is. But when you go to the dictionary and you look up the definition of black, the first thing that's in that box next to the word black, it says adjective. Now, we know that a noun is a person, place, or thing. An adjective, you are not a person. So when you classifying as black in terms of race, you're basically taking yourself out of personhood, and that's the definition. Now, we do have, connotative and denotative language. We tend to speak in connotative language where it's acceptable. Like when we say bling bling, we say, oh, that means a diamond. Well, when you go someplace else, they call a diamond a diamond. Now, when you travel outside of America, Jason, and you've traveled outside of America, on your passport, and you go to different countries, you classify as an American. from the United States. When you come back into America, then you get reclassified as Black. Any white person traveling outside of America, when he or she goes to another country, they classify as American. When they come back into this country, that's the only time they call themselves white, or we refer to them as white, black, yellow, blue, green people.
I'm going to rattle off some. I was writing notes. Who do you think's doing the classifying, though? Because
the government.
I think we are. Well, again, but I think like some.
Yeah, we have nationality, race, and race is kind of like Santa Claus. If you believe in it, it exists. Okay, that's the science of it, right? Now there's only.
Well, no one believes in it more than us, though, Isaiah. I think we believe in race more than anybody. We're letting the Associated Press and everybody, we're going to capitalize the B in Black. We're going to really set y'all apart from everybody else and give y'all a little special distinction. Lean into your color. And to me, I know a lot of people, Black and white, that really all they want to be is American. And for me, just for me, and again, I just judge me as a Christian. I want to be a part of Christian culture. And that's for me. Now, I'm not saying everybody's got to be, but there are more important things than my skin color. And maybe there's people that have other religions. Prioritize that. I see us as Black people. Jesse Jackson's the one that said, hey, let's call ourselves African American. Let's quit calling ourselves Negro. It's like we keep coming up with all these different classifications. And now since when George Floyd died, the Associated Press said, well, okay, George Floyd now says y'all get a capital B anytime we write and talk about y'all. And then you said we have Black culture, and I don't want to give you too much to unpack, but we have a Black culture, but you said race is a false construct. So if race is, how can we have Black culture? Because some of the things that the media has defined as Black culture, I want no parts of. There's a bunch of stuff going on in Black culture in terms of the profanity, the use of the N-word, the music that we say is Black culture that is insane. And again, I used to listen to the stuff, and I'm friends with rappers, and I get it. I mean, I'm not trying to distance myself from the depravity of it, but I'm not letting that define. That's our culture. WAP. That's our culture. I completely reject it. And so I want to be a part of Christian culture, American culture, and, you know, if I've had a couple of drinks, maybe I want to be a part of, you know, briefly some other, but mostly
you do so good.
I gotta tell
Tony Isaiah, he do so good. And then splash, what's that in the water? Oh, that's Jason.
I gotta keep it real, Jim.
There you go.
I'm not perfect. God is still working on me, but anyway, last thing, I'm sorry, Isaiah, voting. I don't believe we're still fighting for voting rights. That's a media bullshit. That asking people for ID is not taking nobody's voting rights. If you want to vote, you can vote.
Time out.
So now I'm throwing it back to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit voting rights quickly, right? And where we are in this country, again, in terms of classifications, you know, every 25 years, the Senate gets together and they decide if you or me have the right to vote. Because again, we don't have birthrights. So this governing body gets to decide if you or I can continue to participate because we are not classified as full citizens because we've been taken out of our nationality and put into these color-coded boxes. So that's one thing in terms of voting rights. Can
I stop you right there? I want to ask a follow-up. Let me ask a follow-up. Yeah. Why are we not fighting for birthrights?
That's what so
Instead of voting rights, why aren't we fighting for birthrights?
So when you go back to Carter G. Woodson, the miseducation of the Negro,